Daddy gang, can you hear me? Hello, it is the Alexandra Cooper, and I am sitting with what I would consider the ultimate daddy.
Yes,
bitch.
Under a disco tree.
You're not supposed to talk yet.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
My
I'm
first
just kidding. You can
podcast.
talk, but no, it's fine. Guys, introducing Miley fucking Cyrus.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming to my house. Thank you for sitting under the disco tree.
I'm just feeling kind of like vibes right now.
Oh, it's vibey.
Well, to our right, Miley and I have penises.
Two penises. So before you got here, I ran into my living room. One, I think everyone in my house got a little scared when I was like, oh, I have dildos. I should put them on the table. They're like inappropriate. Don't do that. But they're not quite dildos. They've never been used.
No.
For what?
Listen,
not by me anyway.
This is the Call Her Daddy podcast. It would be okay if people were like having sex behind us. Like we live for anything sexual.
This is like
so this is good.
The safer platform for me. That's why I'm not doing much press besides this.
Okay, perfect.
This is the only place that is probably appropriate.
Right. Because I'll take it too far and then you can like bring it down, which is like maybe a little different for you than
That's
normal.
different.
Okay,
yeah.
we love this. So, the fucking song. Let me tell you a little story. Okay. So I'm sitting in my hotel room and Kelly, the woman that's here with me in LA, is like, I'm going to play you Miley's song. We're going to get you to play Miley's song. And I'm like, I have never in my life, if you have told me that I was going to be listening to your song early release, I'm like, what is my life? I'm a fucking loser from Pennsylvania. Like, what's happening? I listened to the song before the eyes of whoever played it for me on your team and Kelly. I have an orgasm. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I am like wet listening to your song.
Yes.
Miley, Midnight Sky.
Yes.
Tell us about it. It's iconic. I'm
So,
sorry, but like I'm getting excited for
Midnight Sky, I'm like very, very into. I mean, kind of throughout my career, I've felt like I've been able to introduce my fans to music they may not know, like whether it's sitting in this backyard and covering Jolene for backyard sessions or playing like. I have this really funny video that I love of playing Smells Like Teen Spirit when I was on the Hannah Montana tour, and like all the kids were really upset about it and weren't digging it at all. And
They're like, Miley, what are you saying?
Yeah, 4 random moms were kind of singing along. Also, I was yelling my libido while all these children, it was like a whole thing. And so I felt like I always do these covers, but I wanted one of my own. I wanted a song that felt classic. I wanted a song that felt like it was from the era of which I usually pull my inspiration from, but like really not being afraid, really being unapologetic about the tone, the sonics, the lyrics. And as you and I were watching the video and we started talking about, I think it's really special how having this kind of like anthemic, you know, kind of pansexual, bisexual anthem of this song that like plays with gender roles, and it's like unapologetically saying in the chorus like my lips on her mouth, and then he's got his hands on my waist, and like there's just not songs for people that can identify with like these lyrics. And so I just thought that it was a really empowering thing for me and then for my listeners, because I just felt like it was a song that felt really honest. And then when you and I were watching the video and talking about like how the video kind of just like captured my spirit, and I felt like that hasn't really happened before. I felt the same way about the video. I felt like that was like me in my most authentic form. And so it just feels very like celebratory right now. I just feel that's what we were talking about, like how I feel like I'm really just thriving.
Yes, she's thriving. She's thriving. When I heard you, like the lyric about like you kissing her on her mouth, I was like, fuck yes, queen, because so many people that listen to my podcast are fucking terrified about embracing who they are, because you're fortunate that like I want to talk to you a little bit about you like realizing your sexuality, and I know that you're very open about like you love everything and you're not putting yourself in a box, but some people don't live in LA or have parents that would be supportive, and they're fucking terrified. And I feel like this song is just changing the game, because it's like you're talking about a woman, you're talking about a man, and it's normal, and it's coming from Miley Cyrus, so you can fucking listen to it, and you can kiss a woman and you can kiss a man, and it's fucking fine.
And I like the idea that you kind of say it's normal, because I really think that normalization is like the first step to just feeling like fully that acceptance. And I think like not just for it to feel normal from the outside, but feeling like comfortable to you and normal to you. And so yeah, it was just like definitely writing it in the studio, even with, you know, some of my like peers, trying to kind of explain that to them why it was important, because they were like, isn't it kind of confusing? You know, like the pop structure is that the chorus says the same thing every time. So it like gets burned into your brain. So when you're at a concert and people get wasted, they're never like, wait, what does she say there? You really want it. There's like a formula. You know, I think everyone, whether you make pop music or not, know that there's like a pop formula. And this really goes against that by having this like gender swap in lyrics, because it, you know, in a way, it's challenging the system and challenging structure, which is what I always do.
When I heard I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone, I was like, good night, goodbye, hello, welcome to Call Her Daddy. That's literally like everything I try to tell anyone that listens to this podcast. I'm like, you belong to yourself and you can do whatever the fuck you want and you don't have to apologize for anything. And that lyric, I'm like, oh my God, Miley, like you fucking hit it.
And I was kind of thinking about that today, like even getting ready, because like before you got here, I had on my hoodie and like I had on my sweatshirt.
Oh my God, I'm a hoodie queen.
I had on my fucking leggings.
And now she has her tits out.
Now I got exactly. That was my next step.
What made you change?
Okay, so you were coming here and I was sitting like in my kitchen doing all my, I was kind of thinking about like what I would want to say, because like I usually don't have this freedom just to like really talk. That's one thing that I'm learning that I do dig about podcasts. Is like you can really actually get into it.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I do feel like on shows you got such a quick amount of time and like you're so censored that I don't always get out my full thought. So to my full thought is I was sitting in my leggings, my sweatshirt, and like really working, and then knowing you were coming here, I went and like got ready and I did my makeup in like 15 minutes, got everything done in 15 minutes. And I realized like something that I thought would be important to say was that I wasn't getting dressed for you, and I wasn't getting dressed for like someone to think that I look sexy. I was getting dressed for me. And I think that's something that's different now that I'm a little bit older, that changed. Like I think maybe that happened like through my last breakup. I feel like maybe since I was like 26, only in the last year have I felt like I always am doing what I want for me, because I don't think that there's been a period, which like I know isn't the most relatable thing to say, but there hasn't really been a period for me where I felt like super insecure with my sexuality. Like I've just been that way. Like I used to strip naked, completely naked in a Cracker Barrel when I was age of 3 and like roll around on the ground.
Oh
so
God,
that's just like that's just like who I am.
we love that. And America loved it when you did it more on like TV.
Oh yeah, so they loved that. They loved that. So I was thinking about like, I guess in the last year has been really transformative, and we were talking about on the couch before we started just about like how I felt like this self-realization period that's going on kind of universally and culturally. I kind of started having that like over the past 2 years through a little bit of trauma, like physical, like my house burning down was like basically one of the most transformative periods of my life.
I can't even imagine.
Going through a massive breakup. And I just feel like one thing that I gained through all the loss is an idea that what I do is for me. And that doesn't mean that you're selfish. And that comes from like a lot of the guilt that you and I were talking about before we started this podcast also about like how much guilt that I feel like I've always had about feeling like I know how fortunate I am, and I don't really feel comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable with my privilege. And I think the only way through it has been through a little bit of trauma. And
I just want to say, first of all, that's like the most beautiful thing, because like honestly, coming to your house, I had no fucking clue what to expect. I'm like, I'm about to meet Miley Cyrus. Like, of course I watched Hannah Montana. Are you fucking kidding me? I made embarrassing music videos pretending to be you when I was younger. And then now as the Call Her Daddy host, I'm so excited to meet the woman that is so sexually liberated and is like an icon for our generation. And I had no idea, like, and I was fully prepared to walk in and be like, hi, like, Kay, sit down, like, let's have a conversation. You are like so normal. And yet you're so not normal, but you're normal. And I think that you saying like you've been through trauma and you're finally for the first time in your life, like really like I'm going to do everything for myself. That is so fucking beautiful, because that kind of shows me no matter how famous you are or whoever is listening in like Nebraska, everyone has to have that one period in their life where they're like, fuck. Am I doing this for a guy, a girl? Am I doing this for someone else other than me? And then you got to find a fucking way, whether it's through trauma. Yeah, it fucking sucked then, but don't you kind of feel like, oh my God, fuck, it was meant to be, because look where I am now.
I'm so thankful that all that happened. And yeah, now I think I don't know why that popped into my brain when I was like getting ready, but like I was putting on my little kitten heel.
Yeah, you look amazing.
I was putting on my shit and I'm like, it's honestly for me.
Yeah.
And like I have a lot of guilt just in my, I just have, since I was little, like I don't know, things have been very easy for me.
Yeah.
Like I've always been, if I've tried something once, I could do it.
Right.
And I know that's not the same for everybody. And I don't know why it's that way for me. And so I had a really hard time accepting that. And I don't like for things to be easy. I like to work hard.
Right.
So I'm one of those people that if I couldn't do it first time, I'd do it 100 times until I could. But I've never really had
to do that.
The only time that I have really had that experience of just trying to do something that wasn't meant for me or not going to work is in relationships.
That's
and
so
like
crazy.
I think I had a big fear of being alone because I'm always surrounded by people. So like my idea of what's it like to be surrounded by people, it's not surrounded by friends, like 15 people. It's like 15,000 people.
Right.
And so the idea of how drastic it goes from being full to being empty is just like really dramatic. And so there was just like a lot of fear, a lot of guilt. But yes,
that's
I
kind
love
of
therapy.
yeah, but that and we were literally talking before the podcast. We're like, so I was like, are you in therapy? I'm like, who asks you that? But I'm like, I love therapy. Do you like therapy?
It's the fucking
Miley's
best.
like, I fucking love it.
It's the best.
I think that's really beautiful though, that you have enough like self-reflection to be like, what am I not having success in? And it is relationships. And I can't help but be like, Miley, like you literally have been so famous since you were how young. And then like to find, it's almost like you're now getting to be like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Because you went for so fucking long performing in front of so many people, pleasing so many people. And now it's like, wait, what makes you happy?
That's actually a really interesting perspective because I never really thought about it that way. And I guess that is kind of, maybe I'm at the age where that would be like getting out of college, starting your first. I mean, most people will be starting their lives now. And I feel like I'm kind of in that like midlife success place and like, or even like beyond the finish line. And there's actually something kind of about, I've read about a lot of athletes that have, it's called winner's blues.
Oh,
and it's when you felt too much of like the dopamine and success and the rush that crash is just so hard.
Trust me and athletes on this podcast we talk about all the time. It's kind of a joke, but like I like to hook up with athletes. And I always say their life is so hard because it kind of ends at like 30, 40, their career. And then it's like, what do you do?
And it can happen the same thing, especially for like females in pop music. There's so much like ageism and sexism that I think it's just, you know, you get feeling like, I just think it's a really good perspective to say, oh, my life is kind of starting now and I'm at a point where I get to decide what do I want to do with it. And that's what you would be doing if you had been spending years in college or spending years as an intern or lower on the kind of like ranking of your job, that now you're at a place where you're like 27, 28, 29, 30, where you get to go, okay, like what am I going to do with all the skills that I've collected?
Well, can I ask you,